Hello everyone and welcome to Aalto Creatives Demo Day. It's fantastic to see so many of you here in Marsio living room, but I also want to extend a warm welcome to anyone and everyone following the event via the stream online. My name is Johanna Karppinen, or friends call me Nunnu, and in real life, or let's say in my non-moderating life, I am COO and Head of International at Post Control Helsinki, so my daily life has to do with feature films, series, commercials, and their post-production, color grading, visual effects, and so on. But I am thrilled to be your panel moderator and event host here today. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with the Aalto Creatives program, but for those who might not be so much, just a couple of words of introduction. The Aalto Creatives is a pre-incubator program aimed at creative industries, and until the beginning of this year, the program was known as Aalto Digital Creatives Program, but it has since widened its scope so that also business ideas without a digital aspect can apply and participate. And all in all, the program has been running since 2022, and it has supported a bunch of creative industry students, researchers, and practitioners on their paths towards entrepreneurship. And Aalto Creatives program is supported by the City of Helsinki, and it's part of Helsinki-based, I have to take a breath for this, Higher Education Institutions Campus Incubators Network. The program is coordinated by Aalto Startup Center and Aalto Studios. Okay, so moving on beyond from the introductions, a couple of words of the day's program. The first order of business is a panel discussion about investing in creative industries, and then we will dive into the much anticipated pitches, i.e. the demo program. We will have 8 pitches and a break in between, so after the 4th one you can take a breather, and then we will come back for the last set of 4 presentations, and then there is the for sort of casual networking and coffees. And in the pitch sessions, this brings pre-incubator participants will present their products, services or companies to all of us here and online, but also especially to the jury that will be introduced to you later. Let's say jury in a very loose sense, because this is not a competition, but it will be more like a panel of experts giving feedback and guidance to the people presenting. I think it's time to get the program rolling. So I'm going to ask you to help me welcome the prestigious panel that we have in order today. I'll take a seat here, and I'll start inviting all of you, but I'll start with Petri Rajahalme. Come on stage and help me welcome Petri. And now that you're taking your time, I can tell you that Petri is the founder and general partner at FOV Ventures, which is the go-to fund for early-stage founders building for the next era of computing. The future is more spatial, more intelligent, and I love this, more human. The tech stack includes spatial computing, AI, 3D, and robotics. Then, next up, we have Linda Hasi. Warm welcome. Linda is a finance and operations lead at Innovestor, a Finnish investment manager with over 10 years of startup experience and passion for creative, brand-driven businesses. And third one up, we have Niki Leskinen, who has executive produced nearly 20 feature films and TV productions, and as head of investment at the Finnish Impact Film Fund, a private equity fund that invests in high-end feature film and TV drama productions. And last but not least, help me welcome warmly Marja-Liisa Permikangas. Marja-Liisa is Managing Director of the Finnish Textile and Fashion Association. And Marja-Liisa is dedicated to advancing the digitization of the industry and growth and internationalization of sustainable consumer business. One more applause and welcome to all of you. Great to have you here. Okay, so investing in creative industries, of course, creative industries as such is a very loose term, but we'll get to that. But first I want to start by more thorough introductions to each of your sort of funds. And of course, you may mention of your background, whatever you feel is relevant. So Petri, I want to start with you. Tell us about FOV Ventures.
Thanks, Nunnu. Hi, everyone. So I have a very kind of eclectic background, kind of boring. Started in banking and finance in Paris. Moved back to Finland to start my own company.
Paris doesn't sound boring.
Actually, I skipped the Luxembourg part.
Okay.
We had a software company doing embedded solutions. Did that for about 4 years after a very small exit. Still wanted to work with startups, so I went to the kind of other side of the table. So I joined Tekes.
Tekes being?
Business Finland. It's always going to be Tekes for me. So hundreds of digital startups over the years. Ran 2 30 million programs. First one was new media innovations. The second one I started in 2016, I think, which was mixed reality, because we started seeing a lot of AR and VR projects on our tables. That led me to run an accelerator for a couple of years called Nordic XR Startups, where I did investments in Nordic-wide, very early stage immersive technology startups, which led me to meet my partner who's in London, and we kind of saw the path towards what is the future of this tech stack that you mentioned. So a new world where everything is more immersive, computing is all around us, content will be kind of all around us fluidly, from flat screens to hovering around us in the world.
And you've been now operative for a good while.
3 years feels like a lifetime, but it was we started investing in 2022. So we do pre-seed and seed stage investments. We're a small firm, but 100 to 500k checks. Really actually love to invest as early as possible.
Before we go into that, would you tell us a little bit about the structure of your fund? Who are your sort of investors? Who did you collect your fund from?
So the first fund is anchored, so we call them LPs, so limited partners. So the major LP is Business Finland Venture Capital, which is separate to the one that startups operate with, which is now part of TESI, so Teollisuussijoitus. And then we have a couple of institutional banks and pension funds, but largely it's family offices and business angels, a lot of them actually coming from the gaming side.
Okay. And just by a quick show of hands, family office as a term is familiar to all of you private wealthy individuals who have sort of formulated their wealth into a company and are managing their own assets through that company. And then there was another one that you mentioned, family offices and business angels. Well, surely everybody knows that. Okay, cool. And so you said your focus is on pre-seed, sort of early stage companies, exactly who we have here today. Would you tell a little bit about your approach to the investment activities? What is it that you're looking for? And the ticket size you already mentioned, but maybe say that once more.
So 100 to 500. So we're typically part of a syndicate. So we invest that. We've recently led quite a lot of pre-seed investments together with business angels. When the rounds get bigger, obviously we're not big enough to take the lead, so we co-invest with other VCs. But basically we see as many people, as many teams as possible, try to help them out and see if it's a fit for us, or try to guide them into kind of what are the next steps. Largely, obviously, when you're investing very early, it's about investing in the team. That's obviously we take a look at the technology and what is the kind of market size that they're aiming with their product or service, but largely it's the team. Yeah.
So the young company who you get on board with will get the money, but what else will they get from you? What's your involvement?
It's a running joke around the VC industry that every investor wants to add value. But I've been operating with early stage founders for a decade almost now. My partner, Dave, in London, he's also been investing early stage for a long time. So we kind of empathize a lot with the challenges of the founders. So we are kind of artisanal. We like to be there as much as possible because we do invest in serial founders. So there is the talent is to kind of stay away and let them do their thing.
And do you take a seat in the board, or do you have an observer sort of involvement? Or what
I actively try to avoid board memberships. I don't think a board is at pre-seed the right format.
What is?
We typically just do kind of weekly, bi-weekly, monthly meetings and sessions, low-key, low threshold. We always have everybody on our Slack. I always have them on WhatsApp, so they can. Yesterday at 9:30 was the last phone call I had with the founder. So we want to be there and be as helpful as we can. We take them to Levi for ski trips to kind of share the passions and the kind of challenges that they have. So we do all these small things which hopefully add up to a lot in the grand scheme of things.
So you act as a sparring partner both in slopes but also in business, and maybe share your contacts.
Often very much as a therapist as well.
Yeah. Got it. Thank you very much. Moving on to Linda. Hi, welcome again.
Thank you.
Would you introduce us kind of similarly whatever it is that you want to share of your past, and then introduce us to the multiple funds, maybe in a short way, and focus on maybe one of the funds that you
So maybe a few words about Innovestor then.
Yes.
So currently we have 7 funds, of which 4 we are making new investments to. Our focus is on early stage companies from pre-seed to Series A. And our focus industry is life sciences and technology. But we do have this angel co-fund, which is open to any industry. And there we make like these syndicated investments together with angels. So that's open for everyone.
What does it mean, just to be sure that everybody is on board?
Yeah.
So you syndicate, so you collect a group of business angels with whom?
We need at least 3 business angels to co-invest with us.
And what's the ticket size average?
It's from
All range.
50K to 300,000 in that specific fund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And both of you, the funds that we are now talking about, do you have exit in mind, or? Yeah.
Yes, always an exit in mind. Yes.
So the idea is to grow value, add value, and grow value.
Yes,
and
exactly.
What's the time range? What are we talking about?
From, I would say, 8 to 10 years.
Yeah,
is the normal range. Yeah.
Got it. Anything else you'd like to tell us about?
I don't know. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I do, but we'll come back to them later. Okay, well, let's move on to Niki. Niki, as said, represents a slightly different format. It's not a VC fund as such. Well, it is, but it's not. Tell us about.
That's correct. So we at our studios manage a private equity fund called the Finnish Impact Film Fund, and we've been around since 2021. And unlike the other investors, I believe here, we do not invest into companies themselves, but we do project financing. By projects, I mean TV drama and feature film productions. So basically, the producer of the production requires funding to produce the project, and we normally provide on average, let's say, around 10% of the total production budget to the project as an investment, and we then expect to recoup our investment plus a premium from the receipts or the proceeds the project generates in the future then. So the time frame is a little bit shorter than in normal startup investing, while we kind of expect to get our money back within a year or 2 years tops.
Yeah. And when you say you put in, let's say, 10-ish% of the production budget, and you put that last in, but you want your money first out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, that's right.
And well, the analog is still there, I believe, in terms of Petri mentioning that you guys invest first and foremost in teams, given that they are pre-seed early on companies. So I don't know if film or TV productions can be considered as startups as such, or what is it that you evaluate when you are sort of deciding upon whether to jump in?
Yeah, of course you can draw parallels between these, but team is one aspect to evaluate, but with film TV productions, it's kind of a one-off thing. So you don't get really a second chance, or you can't really pivot. So once the production is completed and delivered, then you kind of need that to perform well. So of course we need to evaluate the project itself, the script, who's selling that, what's the cast, what's the track record of the director, and so forth, and what the story is, and ultimately if it's good and if it's going to travel and be well received within the audiences.
And the genre and what's hot at the moment.
Exactly.
Very good. Thank you very much. Moving on to a broader industry perspective. Well, I'd like to hear a general introduction, and maybe if you want to, because you have a managerial background yourself as a company director and all that, so tell us whatever you want to bring to this table today.
Okay. Since I've been developing businesses and industries already, from the decade that most of you were not even born. So I started in music industry and entrepreneurship in music industry. So we organized all business education and business plan competition, etc. So that was already 90s. But then I turned more to work on high-tech sector. And for instance, with Professor Mikko Möttönen from this university, Aalto University, we participated for the Ever Innovation Ecosystem competition worldwide with the topic of quantum computing, and we won the race. That was the Corona time, and that all was online, but we were so happy. So absolutely, we have a really good quantum computing and quantum ecosystem here in Finland, at least. So I've been running a consultancy company. I was not a partner, but then the owners sold that to the Danish company, and we grew the company. So. And in the end of the day, they tried to buy it even earlier, but then they were able to do that and finalize. So what else? Currently, I'm in one member of the board of one First North listed company, IT sector called Netum Group. That's quite interesting role as well. Then I invest in the group of family friends type of businesses. For the second time, I put my money to my little sister's businesses. I hope this time it's going better.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. So maybe that's actually a good thing to mention, sort of in the path of investments. You probably have kind of gone through this, but the very early, before business angels, there's usually the FFF, friends and family and fools funding that people collect. And then the road typically takes companies to business angels and then to VC, and so you are sort of jumping into that
once again. I'll hopefully to really earn something even with my investment. But anyhow, 4.5 years ago, I went to the totally new world. I went to the industry association called Finnish Textile and Fashion. And the board member of the previous company I was working as a CEO, she asked that why on earth I go to the association because it's not business. I said that I have more like societal mission, since when you look at the export structure of Finnish industries, we primarily export to the global market B2B solutions. We hardly can export any consumer products or services. It's only few. And I said that if something I could change in this country, this is my mission. And so currently in our association, we have companies from like new fibers, non-woven technical industries to work for and until apparel and fashion industry. And over half of our companies are working in consumer business. And that's kind of the ambition that I would like to make a change in this country, that we could export more consumer products to the global market. Why? Because if you look at any structure of any national economy, so over half or even over is the share of gross domestic product is based on private consumption. In the US, it's even 70%. And so if we are not able to bring goods for those markets, I don't believe in the economic growth of Finland anymore. That's my basic argument. But now, so we made a growth pact and strategy for our consumer-driven design-based industries. And now currently I've also been a member of the creative industries growth strategy, which will be released on the 10th of June. And there are lots of activities we have identified. It's not one single thing we need to change in this society, but several. But now I don't have time to go into that. But
we have to set up a separate event for that. We're
but anyhow, I think that's enough from my side. Happy to be here.
Very good. Well, thank you very much. And it's good to for everybody to understand your background and also where you're coming from, because also amongst the people who are pitching today, there is direct target group for you. Okay, let's talk about risk. Well, in terms of sort of private investment and creative industries, we are sieving in to creative industries, but in general, the kind of two themes or terms come to mind is risk, and on the other hand, growth potential, as themes in which private investors kind of put their focus on. Obviously, if you are a private investor, you have to be sort of willing to take risk, otherwise you wouldn't be doing it. But on the other hand, risk mitigation is key. I mean, especially if you are operating a fund in which you are spending other people's money, you may invest to your sister's companies as much as you want, but risk mitigation is key also in that sense. So how or do the risks and rewards sort of specific to investing creative industry startups differ from other sectors? And what kind of strategies do you guys take on board when mitigating those? And evaluating opportunities. Who wants to start? Whoever.
I can go. So obviously, we're not just investing in content. We're largely investing in kind of infrastructure, tooling, picks and shovels. So for us, de-risking the portfolio is all about portfolio construction. So we can take certain kind of risks with certain kind of investments that we do in certain kind of startups, whereas we try to kind of balance it out with a different kind of risk, because there is no non-risk investments in early stage. And the kind of things that we look at is the business models, like is it kind of more consumer driven, hit driven, or is it just like churning out steady growth? And also on the upside, so it's good to understand that typically a VC will always invest in companies where they believe that investment alone can return the whole fund. So that's kind of the expectation level and the ambition level that the founders also have to have. So depending on fund size, the outcome has to be kind of like hundreds of millions or even billions.
So in other words, if you're investing into 100 companies, you're calculating that you're aware that many of them might not be a massive stellar success, but any one of them in theory can sort of return the overall sort of amount of investments.
So there's a thing called power law in VC, which basically states that over half of your portfolio will go to zero. So exactly zero. And that's the risk that you're taking, and that's why you need a balanced portfolio so that you can have those ones that go to zero, but you're just losing the amount of money that you've put in. And then typically you have one company that might return the whole fund. That's very correct.
As our time is running desperately quickly, maybe I'll just ask you guys to nod if you agree, or if you want to add something very specific to this. Do you want to say something quite briefly?
Well, I guess the intangible value is important in creative businesses, and the investor needs to understand that.
And Niki, also you are investing over sort of...
I can quickly add something. The mechanisms in film industry are very similar to the startup world. So the power law distribution is really applied to this one as well. But like in terms of downside protection or mitigating risks, we were lucky enough to sign an agreement with the European Investment Fund, which is a EU-backed funding agency, and they are they have started to look more closely towards the creative and cultural sector, and they've been starting to provide these sort of guarantee instruments to funders in the creative sector. So what they essentially offer to us is a sort of a guarantee. So if we were to lose some money on an investment, they would cover part of those losses, which makes investing into this field much different than without that sort of a guarantee.
Exactly. Do you want to briefly add to that?
I just, from others' experiences, I just discussed with Linda that in our industry there are certain investors who put money in fashion companies, but it's not exactly the point of view that they look their business sometimes, but they look, for instance, they are interested in the sustainability side of the industry, but that's not enough to make really business. So it would be really nice to give kind of smart money that you really, for instance, understand how you build brand businesses in consumer market. And I do hope that if there is any who really knows how to do that, would come and say that, well, I know this, how to invest in these companies, because this is what exactly kind of competencies we need here.
Great. Keep the mic, Marja-Liisa, because I wanna stay with you, because you mentioned sustainability. I was wondering, have you identified any sort of hot topics or trends at the moment amongst the textile and fashion industry and the investors that you know are active in that space? And the same goes for you, applicable to your own industries.
So you mean investors?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have listed, and we know there are like family offices, type of family offices. There are like investors who precisely invest, let's say, in workfare, for instance.
Yeah.
And then there are who invest in startups in our industry, but they are kind of really scattered, and not always they are. When it comes to the consumer side, not precisely. When I look, for instance, Denmark or UK or France, you can find more industry-specific investors, not specifically fashion, but they have in their portfolio lots of consumer goods and services. So they really know how to make consumer business. And I think that kind of we are lacking this kind of knowledge in the investor world in Finland. But you totally can disagree with me, but that's my kind of understanding so far, what I've analyzed.
Great, thank you. Yeah, and maybe to kind of tune into the sort of trends perspective, like have you recognized some sort of hot topics or trends now amongst sort of creative industries, or in general that you feel that are key at the moment where you pay attention to?
I tend to not follow trends that closely because the whole film industry is very reactive, so something comes out of nowhere and it's a big hit and then people start to replicate that, but you're already quite late by the time you deliver that project when you started this kind of replication. So trends shift very fast in the film sector.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say artificial intelligence is something that is now everywhere, and I guess that's something that will change creative industries as well.
Yeah, and Marja-Liisa mentioned sustainability, so that's
continuous theme, I'd say.
Yeah, obviously AI is the hot topic, and it's kind of interesting to see the kind of counterbalance to the technical developments of AI, and especially in the creative industries. Like basically, you could create whatever you want on your laptop right now. Short film, even longer film, like audio, video, everything. But to me, what's kind of comforting, I think, is that what really makes everything stand out is still the personality and the human side of things.
Yeah.
But it's I wouldn't say it's war out there, but it's definitely interesting to see where it's going to go.
Got it. Unfortunately, our time is up, but one last question, words of encouragement and advice, given that we have a room full of young entrepreneurs or future entrepreneurs, startup operators, in this day and age where we are sort of seeing the economy in general kind of being on a little bit slow, what is key at the moment from their perspective, from our audience's perspective, to go forward, to build your company?
Yeah, I just encourage to be yourself, be bold, and be yourself, and that's the only way that you can kind of stand out there.
I would encourage you to build a strong team with complementary skills, and you have a great opportunity here at Aalto to do that.
And it's always good to put yourself into the position of the investor and think like how to make their lives easier with your pitch and how you present these ideas and so forth. So you kind of you're prepared to go and talk to them.
If I had anything to add, so if you are in consumer business, it's really good deeply understand what it means that you have every consumer in the world in your hand. So how to operate in a totally digital environment and use everything what people said here. But it's not easy to raise. Be aware of your target audience, how to get there, how to know your customer, because everybody has the customer in their hand.
Mm-hmm. Extremely wise words. I thank you all very much for sharing your insights. Join me in thanking the prestigious panel. Thank you. Thanks very much. You're welcome to exit the stage. And there will be a quick sort of removal of the chairs, and we'll continue with the program just as we clear the stage. Mm-hmm. This event and show the kind of support that you'd like to see shown if you were up here. So I want to hear roaring applauses and warm welcomes to each and every person who is coming to pitch. So the format is as follows. Each person has 3 minutes to deliver the pitch, and if it runs over, there's going to be a lady with a bell ringing. And then that means the time's up, and I will gently escort the person to the sidelines of the stage to hear the comments of the jury, or I want to call panel of experts. What type of questions, guidance, advice, comments they might have. We'll say a quick hello to there are familiar faces now in the panel or jury, but there are also 2 new faces familiar to some of you, I know. So Kati Uusirauha, who was supposed to be here today, couldn't make it, unfortunately, but we are lucky to have Timo Heikkilä standing in for Kati. Timo has almost 20 years of experience in the tech industry in companies such as Samsung and Nokia, and of it most recently 7 years as a founder and CEO of Popit, a digital health startup. Timo brings hands-on expertise in startup business and product development, as well as financing and sales. And you also are known to many of the pre-incubator participants, I know, and because you work currently as business advisor at the Aalto Startup Center. And then we have Fredrik, or was it Freda? Fredrik Sirén. Fredrik is a business coach from Aalto Creatives fellow campus incubator Turbiini from Metropolia University of Applied Sciences. And Fredrik has been an entrepreneur for over 25 years, mainly working in service design, advertisement, and gaming sectors. As an entrepreneur, he has seen, this is fantastic, the towering heights and the abysmal lows, which he thought were both interesting. For the past 4 years, Fredrik has worked in incubators to facilitate the success of the next generation of talent, focusing on the soft skills that bring the hard results. I love this pitch. So welcome to the jury, Fredrik. Do you have any words of encouragement to the pitchers?
Just be yourself. That's it. That's it. Nothing else you need. It's nervous to get out there, but it's okay. When it's done, and if you forget some words, it doesn't matter. It's all in your head. So go out there, be yourself, and it's a friendly crowd with friendly coaches here. Maybe not judges, but coaches here. So
exactly,
we're here to support you.
Exactly. And Timo, did you want to say something also?
Yeah, actually. to chime into that, I would say that nobody here wants you to do badly. Everybody here is here to root for you, so break a leg.
Exactly. Excellent words. And next to Petri, we have Petri and Marja-Liisa, who we just met in the panel. Do you have any expectations you want to share or any comments you want to give?
Be bold. We are for you. Believe in your business.
Excellent. Same. Echoing. Okay. So now it's time to get going with the first presentation, first pre-incubator participant. And I have already made a pre-apology to all the presenters because we have one participant from Finland and the other ones are fully from a global sort of environment. So I will be totally slaughtering the names here today. I'll do it with much affection and love, but I do apologize for not doing justice to your beautiful names. But without further ado, let's welcome Feng Yi, who is an architect passionate about blending technology, art, and science. With a vision for transforming data and upcycled waste into iconic, sustainable spatial features, she founded Arbitrary Aesthetics. And today she'll share how her innovative brand brings circular design to life. The stage is yours. Roaring applause.
Thanks, Nunu. Very glad to be here and meet you all. Hello, everyone. My name is Feng. I'm here to introduce you Arbitrary Aesthetics, where design meets technology. We turn data into iconic installations to boost the brand's visibility and impact. Many brands struggle to stand out and attract new customers due to lack of memorable spatial identity. But recurring custom design is very time-consuming and wasteful. It's time for a smarter solution. We've developed this fully automated design-to-production system that we first take spatial data to our generative design system for immediate design update and easy customization. Then with industrial 3D printing, we bring the digital design to reality using upcycled bio-waste materials. As a result, we offer iconic installations to attract more audiences to explore and engage. Then with more engagement, we boost the growth of the brands. This video visualizes our approach. Thanks to modularity, our products and installations can easily be assembled and dismantled for reuse or recycle. The products will come in different types and sizes. This flexibility let us easily adapt to different spaces and branding needs. We've piloted one project with City of Helsinki to bring people out and spark connection during dark winter time. This module on stage is part of it. It's a great moment to act now. We've noticed growing interest and curiosity towards 3D printed designs, especially how it could adapt new materials and forms. Besides, brands are stepping up with more circular solutions. Our price model consists of 3 tiers, from full custom design to fabrication package to a simple product purchase from inventory. And we start with event and exhibitions, then we will expand to hospitality and lifestyle brands, or even collaborate with public sectors to boost city center identity. We're very unique because we blend architectural intelligence, circular material innovation, and fabrication control in one unified system. This is a rare expertise that's hard to replicate and build to scale. We're a team of 2 architects specializing in computational design and digital fabrication, and we're ready to expand our team with different talents. We're looking for financial support to scale our research and development, also pilot partners to realize our approach commercially, then a marketing expert to grow with us. We're Arbitrary Aesthetics. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was 3 minutes to the dot, 5 seconds remaining. Fantastic.
I tried to control.
Excellent. Okay, experts, who wants to go first?
Thanks for a great presentation. My basic questions goes to your business model. Are you really building a service business or do you have any technologies that you could scale kind of?
Yes, we're actually quite technological driven because as in the process, like we will develop this algorithm driven like generative design system. And then for customization, we just change a couple of parameters and it could like generate different result immediately. Plus also then like 3D printing, that I mean like robotic 3D printing or with industrial level. So it's not like tabletop hobby style 3D printing. So I believe with this approach, we could easily scale to different industry and also different sizes of products.
If I can still be more precise, so my question is in your core to, for instance, license your type of doing this, or you offer services for companies who can use your products and design?
Yeah, sorry for misunderstanding. Right now, we will offer services and we produce the products in-house. So both the service and the product to business and possibly government.
Thanks for the great presentation. So it's very, very clean, very easy to follow. I have one additional question, or maybe actually a proposal. So when you're talking about your unique advantages, that was kind of like what I was thinking all the time. So like, how are you different from the other companies who might be producing something different, some kind of similar service or a product? You mentioned that your unique differentiator is kind of like your skill or your team. But then again, my thinking went back to like, from a customer perspective, they are thinking about also like, what's the job that they want you to do. And can you maybe just like elaborate on that like from the customer's perspective, how do you differentiate? I think you have a competitive advantage with your skills, but then again, like the customer decides and they have different options. Why do they choose you?
Yeah, good question. Thank you. I think I can specify a little bit like what we differ from, for example, traditional design or architecture studios, because we're not kind of a one-off offering. We develop a system and it's system-driven, and then we offer like to the customer. I mean, it's a very optimized system that they can save a lot of time because of this generative design system we use. Plus that could potentially save them some money too with more unique added value, for example, circular materials and like unique like form that really speak their brand identity. Yeah,
I think that's exactly what I was going for. So if you can try to somehow quantify that, I think that would be great.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Great presentation. Were you nervous?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't show that much. So well done. Like very clear slides. Like I think you presented well your stuff and sort of covered a lot of the bases. That was actually one thing I was struggling with first. That what are you actually selling? So I would also like maybe piggyback on that. What my colleague here said just a while ago that how do you like clarify more what is the actual product? So that we get. But you know I think it went fantastically, and like you have the expertise, you have the beginning of a great team with two architects going on there, so it's a good way to go. And I love that you also have at the end of your presentation your ask. So you also had an ask what you would like to do, like looking then at some like traction there or some how do you make the money? So if you're talking to investors, so probably what you're going to tell like what is the upside for an investor to come inside to do that needs to be shown. But you being smart people and absolutely executing stuff, I'm certain you can get there as long as you have those things to move forward to.
Thank you very much. Petri, you have one sentence time left. Not even that actually, but you can then get together after.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of questions about the spatial data, the generative side, the algorithm, but maybe we take it offline after this. Continue more.
All the more reason to get together. That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the second second pitch. Today we will hear from Janina Wekström. Janina is the founder, so it's the only name that I could actually pronounce correctly. Janina is the founder of the Finnish sleepwear brand, which brings together sustainability, wellness and quiet luxury. With a background in business administration and marketing, she's now on a mission to elevate the way we rest, starting with what we wear to bed. Today, she'll introduce her company Hawen and share how ethically made, beautifully designed sleepwear can become a daily ritual of well-being. So let's welcome on stage Janina. Break a leg.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Janina Wekström and I'm here to introduce you to Hawen, a haven of wellness and luxurious sleep. Sleep is the most important foundation of health. Yet it's been overlooked for far too long, even as sleep deprivation has become a major global problem. For decades, we've glorified sleeping 4 to 5 hours a night, as if today, the mindset is shifting, and people are investing in better sleep. However, people sleep in cotton, synthetics, and other problematic fibers. But according to studies, people would sleep better in natural and breathable fibers. Silk is one of the finest materials. Once you've experienced it, there's no turning back. But many have stepped away from traditional silk, troubled by the fact that the silkworms are boiled alive in their cocoons. And like so many others, I too want clean and comfortable nightwear. Not just clean from harmful chemicals, but also meaning a clean conscience. And that's why we use peace silk. Peace silk is harvested after the moths have emerged from their cocoons naturally. So we make everyday luxury pieces that bring everyday luxury to your life. And it's time we make sleep something to long for again. The sleepwear market is quite big and is expected to grow everywhere. And the business model is to sell new designs, new materials, and other sleep-enhancing products, such as night masks and sleep socks, and so on. And right now we're in the prototype phase, meaning friends, fools, and family are testing and giving feedback. And as the consumers demand more ethical choices and prioritize better sleep, our company responds to this with products that are both responsibly made and improve your health, personal health. And there is a lot of competition in the field, but we're aiming for the top mid-range. And the most potential competitors use cotton synthetics and traditional silk. The team is so far me, but I'm looking for a co-founder or two with complementary skills. And we're seeking for 100K to build a strong start, convincing start, and convincing launch. So, who is ready to join and make the world a better place, one good night's sleep at a time? Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I have my eyes on you. Who wants to go first?
Hey, thanks, Janina, for your credit. As you said, competition is hard, and the hardest part really is, well, there are like two sides in our startups in our business. The first side, how to get to your customer. So what my first question is your sales channel strategy. So how do you reach your customer? On the other hand is the kind of the sourcing and logistics. Those two things, how do you organize them?
For the customer part, I believe I'm a huge fan of social media and influencers and co-working all together. And it's to find the right people to work with who have the audience ready, maybe, and to bring the brand alive through that. And right now the silk I found, this piece silk is from India, and I want it to be made in Europe now in the beginning, but I have many ideas of new and more ecological and natural fabrics also that can be made in Europe in the future. So then I want those items to be made in Europe, and then I also want these piece silk to be also made in India to help the communities there. So in the end, I want to build this, that where the fabrics is made, the item is made, and it will also benefit the whole community there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know it's just 3 minutes, so it's unfair to ask to put everything in those slides, but I think what you just answered there is kind of the values, the core of what you're building. So kind of the long-term vision as well, and what are the kind of, the values that you have in building your company, and not just the ethical way of producing it, but what benefits could be out there for the places where it's being produced, or also the fact that you want to not in-house it, but bring it to Europe. So it could be a good way to kind of build that into the narrative, the values of what you're building.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, thanks for the presentation. Like, it went well. So no problem. I always forget some words also, so don't worry about that. So, but excellent, clear presentation. Like it looked very good. It looked what you're pitching. It looked the same way, so it looked comfortable and well. So that was a great journey to take us through. So you sort of talked the same thing as you showed, and. Some things were already said, and I do agree. A lot like something like better, but again, like as you said, like it's 3 minutes only, so you can't get all of that stuff in. But maybe even going a bit more into that sort of your vision of a bit more would be nice. But I love the way you did that thing, and you also like tied it to some of the megatrends that are probably in your core target group is also following. So I think that's a good way to go. And a team is definitely something with logistics and all of the other things that you need to do, that you need to consider. So maybe not hire another designer to be a co-founder, but someone who also has experience in those other things, because those things are quite expensive and time consuming. But otherwise, well done.
Thank you.
Thanks for the great presentation. I think it's I know you're early stage, but as the next step, I would probably start to bring in a bit more numbers, like in terms of like margin, like how much does it cost for you to make these garments. And another thing that came to my mind is I really like the story that you are basically helping the butterflies to survive, and I guess that's why you also have that logo. And I would maybe lean into that even a bit more, because it's such a good story. And then you could utilize that in many different ways. And that's basically my feedback. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, out of time. Well, last word.
Look at Nine Pine Swedish company with 5 people in the team. They make 30 million turnover.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I just have to say it was a kind of a humble statement that the sleepwear market is quite big. I mean, out of how many billion people we have on the planet, quite many wear something to sleep. So the world is your oyster, I'd say. Okay, third one up, we will invite on stage Alexander Alex Osachuk. Alex is a software engineer originally from Ukraine, currently based here in Espoo. With a passion for music and emerging technologies, he founded iPlayArt, an AR-powered platform that transforms real instruments into immersive learning tools. Today, Alex will introduce iPlayArt and share how it's bringing music education and wellness into modern spaces like airports, offices, and schools. The stage is yours, Alex.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Really excited to be here today. So, my name is Alex, and I'm co-founder of iPlayArt. We use artificial intelligence and augmented reality to make music education more engaging, accessible, and wellness-oriented, especially in shared spaces. Did you know that 76% of employees report emotional distress induced by work, and depression alone cuts productivity by 35%? That results in over 31 lost workdays per person annually, and translated into a staggering $210 billion loss to the US economy. Standard wellness options like nap pods or meditation apps don't address emotional burnout in a hands-on, rewarding way, but music, on the other hand, has a proven impact on emotional regulation and focus. In a study commissioned by Spotify, 89% of adults reported improved mental health after playing a musical instrument. And this is where iPlayArt comes in. We not only let users play, we actually teach them to play musical instruments. By utilizing smart glasses like Apple Vision Pro or Meta Quest 3, users see interactive overlays on their instruments, follow step-by-step visual guidance, and receive real-time, personalized AI feedback. Think of it as personalized music learning anytime, anywhere. And we are building it for real use cases like break rooms at corporations, lounge areas at airports, classrooms at schools, and hotel suites at hotels. Initially, we were targeting B2C market, but later found out that B2B, namely corporate wellness, is a much greater fit for us. We are currently operating on a $35 per month per seat plan, allowing corporations to scale efficiently based on demand. We have already showcased our product at Mobile World Congress Barcelona, EW Summit in Stockholm. We have been featured on Forbes and caught the eye of NVIDIA, Microsoft, and Huawei. We are currently conducting tests with small user groups. We have a fully fledged team of 6. 4 of us are co-founders. We have a few music school graduates, and Mary and I have the experience on the US market. When it comes to learning efficiency, tutors are incredibly efficient, but terribly expensive and not really scalable. Other apps are accessible, but lack that hands-on rewarding experience, and they don't offer much. But iPlayArt is built specifically for AR wearables and shared spaces, bringing both accessibility and depth of learning. We are currently seeking strategic partnerships and 500,000 euros that will last us about 18 months to get us through B2B pilots, MVP launch, and initial revenue. So let's bring music to AR together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Who wants to go first?
I'll start. Thanks a lot. Well done. Really well. I think I have a few things I'm looking at, like the presentation, unique value proposition, the content, the team, and also your customer understanding. And I think you checked most of them really, really well. So I think you had like good numbers where you explained the problem instead of just focusing on the product, which I think was great. So it's just the problem and your solution to it. And if I would, I'm an investor myself, but then probably is your solution addressing the problem? Probably is. And,
yes, research shows it.
Yeah. So it's great because you had those things in there. All those very clear slides, very good on that, and you have a big team to run that. And I think you have a good sense of your own unique value proposition, which is great. So something that differs you from the pack.
Yep.
So love that. I don't have too many questions for you. We can talk afterwards, but I think it was well done.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for a great presentation. I had a few things that came to my mind. So first of all, starting from the end, I think the really nice slide for the ask. You had really broken it down into the components, like what do you intend to do with the money. And then also, I like that you were able to say that, okay, well, we're focusing on the B2B, that you have a clear story why you're not going to the B2C, which in my opinion, is also quite wise because, well, the acquisition costs at B2C they are very, very high.
Exactly the reason why.
Yeah, exactly. So that what I would maybe focus on a bit more is still to highlight the actual benefit. I know that is very intangible. It is like the emotional, like helping with the emotional distress, according to your story, but maybe also just highlighting the number of like how many hobbyists there are in the world, so that we can maybe understand the market size a bit better. But all in all, good job. Thank you.
I also like to thank really clear presentation and what you are doing. So at this kind of incubation phase, well done job, as well as concerning how you are going to reach the market. And as what he already said is that in various market segments, probably then next go deeper and also looking at the sales strategies.
Thank you.
This is a bit unfair because I've seen so many companies operating in this same kind of space and burnt by them as well. But the problem is there. wellness of workplace, like that's a 1 trillion market, or like that's the cost of people not showing up to work because of stress, anxiety, everything. So I still believe that there is something that can be done there if somebody just cracks that. What I would say is maybe it's all about narrative when you're pitching. So there's maybe a bit of cohesiveness into kind of starting from the workplace environment and the problems that you have there, but then you're talking about tutoring for learning to play music. So there's kind of a bit of an unhinge that you need to just try to work out the kinks to really kind of make it flow. But then I don't know if I have time left, but
Not really, but very quickly.
I could talk an hour about this, and sorry, you can't do anything about it anymore. But you guys have, like, you're great talents, you're great minds, you have probably great teams around you. Please put your team slides at the front of the slides. Like, I want to know who's talking about it. Why are you best positioned to solve this problem? It calibrates me like totally differently when I know that, hey, this person is talking to me now, like on stage or when I'm reading a deck. That calibrates my mind to think about the whole story completely differently. And that's your most important slide, early stage. Like, showcase what you've done before, where you've worked. Don't be ashamed of putting like logos, and that's the place where you need to kind of build up yourself and shine. So just one pet peeve of mine to everybody, just put the team slide ahead and use that real estate wisely.
Very, very good point. We are over time, but I'll allow it because that's key for everyone, key takeaway for everyone to take on board as a at this stage, like you said, it's the team that people are investing in. And so it's you, and why is it you? Perfect. Well, thank you very much. Excellent presentation.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we are up for our fourth presentation. So this is the last one we have before the break. And it's my extreme privilege to welcome on stage Ashkim Yildiz. My love. It means my love. Ashkim is an architect and researcher, Bosnia-born and lived in Turkey, currently based here in Helsinki. Having lived and studied in multiple countries, she brings in an international perspective to improving early-stage collaboration in architectural planning. Today, she will introduce Previa, a platform that helps teams align on project goals before design begins. Exciting. Welcome, Ashka.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Ashkim, and today I'll be presenting Previa, a design guideline alignment tool for project briefing in architectural pre-design. One of the major challenges in architectural planning is stakeholder alignment. Often, project briefs don't align well with city guidelines. End users are incorporated late within the scheme, and sadly, this leads to an overload of design work, losing time, waste, and resources, and most importantly, trust. All of which can be prevented with early stage coordination. Previa offers a solution with a unique framework for collaborative human AI decision support systems with AI document comparison panels, as well as stakeholder and alignment dashboards. Why now? AI has transformed how we navigate and make use of documents and read through them. And there's a growing pressure to be more transparent and accountable for why we're making the decisions that we're making. And most importantly, within the pre-design phase, we're still lacking early stage digitalization tools instead of design generative tools. Data is growing, it's unorganized, and there is still an outdated PDF workflow within many firms. Within the market, there are mainly AI general-based back-office automation tools, and of course, within the architectural industry, building information modeling tools that serve for generative purposes and come later on in the design workflow. Previa positions itself uniquely in the initial stages of pre-design, making sure that it helps stakeholders align their design objectives from the get-go. Here's how it works. There's a project timeline where the team can follow through at which stage the project is in, along with alignment dashboards based off of the document comparison modules in place, and of course, alignment and stakeholder communication channels so that everyone is aware of the decisions being made in real time. We're hoping to have 2 main revenue streams, one being a SaaS subscription model for design firms, either within specific teams within the firms, or an annual license for firms in overall. And at the same time, municipal collaboration, hopefully, for public sector planning. Previa is grounded in master's thesis level research and designed with insight from architects and city-based representatives from the city of Helsinki, and is based on real-life case studies. We currently have an early prototype which shows its main core features, and we are hoping to build the MVP with a full-stack engineer, a data scientist, as well as a business advisor. Hence, we're seeking early seed funding. And if you're excited about reshaping architectural planning, let's be in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashkim. Who's jumping in?
Thanks a lot. In vertical AI, there's bound to be huge opportunities, and not knowing your industry at all, this just seems like a no-brainer. Like a lot of things in AEC, it's a lot of old systems, legacy systems that don't communicate well. So I imagine there's some tremendous efficiency that you can bring there. From what I understand, it's hard to kind of break in, like, because you said there's a lot of stakeholders. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned the design or architectural companies, that they would be your paying client, but who are the ones that are actually using it? Do you need to have every stakeholder actually using the platform? So how have you thought about kind of like displacing the old systems and just kind of onboarding everybody around your platform?
That is the immediate first challenge. And hopefully with offering more user sessions, we can identify the early prime use cases that would best suit the small to medium-sized firms that would help onboard. And they're the teams that are struggling the most with how to utilize AI in their early stage planning rather than generative design. And sadly, I feel like architecture has approached AI from a different standpoint. We could have utilized it much more efficiently. And there's outdated, like you've said, ways of still operating with PDF data that architects themselves, from their feedback, have found that this would be greatly useful for them as well, and would help communicate in real time better with, yes, both the cities of Helsinki representatives, as well as other cities, hopefully, if we grow, but as well as engineers and even the construction site. So landscape architects, times are shifting, and we need to be speaking on the same communication channel. Sure, there are teams. Sure, there's ways of transferring PDFs and making sure we're aligned, but we're not speaking the same language. So if we come from a same ethos and using the same product, then we could come to early decisions much sooner rather than later in the process. Thank you.
All right, quick one from me. Thanks a lot for the great presentation. I can kind of like see the architect in you has put a lot of information into the presentation, maybe sometimes at quite a small font. So maybe just a quick feedback on that like maybe just increase the font size a bit. You have space. And then the other thing is that your product slide came quite late. I think that's also framing the story. So maybe just pull it up a bit quicker so that we all understand like what is it that we're talking about, what kind of product is it. Thank you.
Thank you.
In 30 seconds or
yes,
less.
That's what I'll be quick. So thanks for the presentation, and as also said, like this is a great opportunity for you to practice those skills. I mean, you're probably a good architect, I hope so, and so you look the part. So that's great. But these are great sessions for you to practice the pitching part that you're going to need anywhere. So becoming an entrepreneur or not, or anything else, you have to sell your own ideas. So practice on that aspect of bringing out like the problem well and
your
explain
30
your
seconds
solution.
are up. Yep.
So, well done. Let's continue. I'll talk to you on the break.
Thank you.
1-2 sentences, max.
Yeah, lots of said
you.
already, and maybe to say probably too early about your pricing model without knowing. So that's only one. You had only one figure, and that was about your pricing model. Maybe that comes later once you know your market and customer better.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Ashkim, thank you so much. Thank you, Julie. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, pitchers. Really well done. Now it's time for a super quick break. I need you back here 2:20. So just enough time to stand up, say hi to a friend, take a bio break, have a drink, and I'll see you back here 2:20. Okay, welcome back, everyone. We will continue with the last batch of pitches for presentations remaining. Without further ado, I want you to warmly welcome Hasan Demirjoğlu. Hasan is a game industry veteran who recently launched Susa Games in Helsinki. Now he will introduce the new company and its very first game. Let's give a round of applause to Hasan. The stage is yours. Break a leg.
Hello everyone, I'm Hasan. Here as a second-time entrepreneur. Previously, I had been running my own studio. We launched 20 games there, reached 30 million players. By living 3 successes and many failures there, I gained experience in the mobile market. Now I got together with experienced professionals like me, and we registered a new company here. We already released our initial game to early access, iterated it several times, optimized retention metrics of it. Now we are focused on monetization metrics. How we're gonna differentiate is as follows. We picked 2 best performing user acquisition strategies. One of them is Summer Theme, and the other one is Love Story. We combined those and end up with a game called Summer Love. Why we picked Merge 2 genre is as follows. First of all, it has a huge market potential. Secondly, we have the technical capability to produce such a great game, and we know the target audience there. So, as an experienced professionals, having a clear goal of launching a globally appealing, highly scalable mobile game, we foresee 3 submissions for ourselves. First one is team expansion in the right direction. Second one is hitting the KPIs with an existing game. And last one is securing the required funds. Our scaling projection is as follows. Basically, we will be holding it in the break-even point while scaling our player base as much as we can. Here, I would like to present a great team who can turn this projection into reality. We have Yelda as our marketing guru, Ali as our finance experts, Deniz and Efe are our well-trusted production team, and we have Sharat as our growth advisor. I am fundraising in order to support soft launch of our game and also start producing new mobile entertainment experiences. If you see any collaboration space, please do reach me. I would love to discuss further. First, I would like to thank Aalto team for this opportunity and thank you for listening.
Thank you, Hasan. Hasan, who wants to go first? Yes.
Thanks for your great presentation and great to hear your background as well. So what is the profile of your gamer for your games?
Mainly women players above 25 years old have special interest in story-driven casual games.
Yeah, thanks, Hasan. The market is huge, but as you know, competition is the number of competitors is huge as well. Can you walk me through a little bit more in detail about user acquisition and distribution? What's your main kind of strategy?
In the beginning, we are planning to use Facebook and Google Ads to start there. We are trying to optimize metrics with small budgets, small spendings right now. And after that, we would like to shift towards a little bit of brand marketing because nowadays, as you said, it's hard to survive with just the user acquisition marketing, but it needs huge budgets. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, on the gaming side specifically, like gaming investors, they will want to see some kind of innovation in distribution and user acquisition. It's for them to open up their wallet and to invest. It most likely won't be enough to kind of talk about high-level strategies, because they're seeing hundreds of decks a week of companies that are trying to do the same thing. So I would encourage you to really find something new that you can bring to your deck as well, and your presentation about user acquisition and distribution specifically. And there's a ton of new companies who are specializing with AI on that user acquisition side. So maybe look into those companies and maybe be the first adopters and first paying customers of those new companies that are kind of increasing ROI on ad spend, or kind of finding the psychological barriers when people are dropping out in an onboarding pipeline. So I'd really focus on that, because you clearly have the talent and you know how to build the games, but it's more the getting the users and the distribution where I would focus on.
Thank you for the suggestion. We are trying some things related to your user acquisition site, like pull the pin kind of arts, or creating summer themed art styles, or different things, but we haven't found our sweet spot yet, to say.
Thank you for the very clear presentation. I can see that you know your numbers very well. But like Petri said, I think it's the customer acquisition cost that I was still missing a bit, and like how do you actually work around that problem? It's super tricky. Another thing I had in mind was that I really liked that you didn't have any kind of like a problem slide or anything like that. So this is more like it's a game, and you're making a game for a particular kind of an audience. No need to waste time on that. So I think this was great and a really concise pitch. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be quick. No, like excellent skills and traction presentation. So you immediately came out of the gate and understood that you know what you're doing. And as they said, also like finding your unique value proposition in a very competitive market is your challenge, and it's something that you can do and put your head together to do well. Yeah.
Fantastic. I think our time is up. Hassan, thank you so much. Thank you, Paul. Next up, we have Xuefei Shi. Xuefei is a fashion and textile designer with a strong focus on biomaterials and smart wearables. She's passionate about addressing real-world challenges in fashion sustainability. And today, she'll introduce Ocean Loop, a company developing recyclable, bio-based clothing parts from locally harvested Baltic seaweed. Let's welcome Xuefei. Good luck.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Xuefei. Today I'm going to introduce to you Ocean Loop. We are a B2B company that makes buttons from Nordic seaweed. In fashion industry, there's only 1% of material in clothing is recycled. Meanwhile, by 2030, all textile products must be durable, recyclable, or bio-based. While we already have a bunch of new material alternatives in fabrics, which is the main part of a garment, we tend to ignore the tiny parts, trims. Does anybody know what does trim mean in fashion industry? So if you look at what you're wearing, you see zippers, buttons, buckles. We call them hard trims. And this is the part we're going to focus on. So how do we get the raw materials? The first way is to harvest the detached biomass in Baltic Sea, and they are mainly brown and red seaweed. Another way is the seaweed farming industry side streams that are underused and will turn into waste if we don't utilize them. So here is the solution. The point is to create this product lifecycle loop. Why now? The underused local biomass the EU regulations, and the bio-based material market is growing fast. So we focus on this niche, fast-growing market that people tend to ignore. Why us? Currently in the market, the main competitors are the low-cost traditional trims, but they will no longer qualify the EU regulations. So here we are. We combine innovative design with new materials. We solve the local problems with a local solution. The team, me, I'm a designer graduating from fashion and textile design in Aalto soon with a biomaterial minor. And lately I found a co-founder, Annie, who's sitting there. She's in charge of the business side. But if you're interested in joining us, please feel free to talk to us after the pitch. You can connect with me here or check out my design work. Together, let's turn seaweed into valuable clothing parts. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thanks for your clear presentation and thanks for taking this hard trims part, because as you said, there are so many companies focusing on the fibers, and currently scaling the fiber production is not easy to anyone, but because the consumer is not ready to buy for that. Anyhow, but so my first question, because this was a kind of brilliant idea to focus on the trims, but my question is to you that what is then going to be your production process? Because if the 3D production is coming more and more to the fashion industry, they will say that it will first replace the part of the trims, because clothing is so hard to really 3D print currently. But the starting point for 3D printing and automated robotized production processes will be especially in the trims. So if if that is the future, in the near future, so how can you compete with your production process in this very, very high competitive market in that case?
Thank you for your question. So we focus on the bio-based materials, and so far in the market, other competitors, they are not focusing on the bio-based materials, and even if they are like somehow sustainable, but they're still using the recycled plastics. So, and I've already been talking to people from the chemistry side, and we have like some ways to produce the prototypes.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks a lot for the presentation. You immediately caught my attention in the beginning, so that's like the innovative idea. I think that was just brilliant, and you did a good job with the one-liner. So you have clearly practiced and have crafted that really well. I also found that you had a really nice way to introduce us to the key term, which was the trim. So you did a good job there with a limited time. But one question I had, which was the access to the raw material. So how do you make sure that you have enough raw material that kind of like is homogeneous in quality as well, that you are able to, like, in a stable fashion, produce your product?
Yeah. So from what I know, so I had this biomaterial miner, and from that miner we get to collaborate with a company who's also making other products from seaweed, and they have residue for us designers, and they want us designers to upcycling their residues. So at least we can use their leftover so far, but we are also contacting other companies.
Excellent. So problem and solution very well defined. Thank you. It was, I think, was very well and focusing on a very specific niche, also perfect, because that's something that I haven't thought about myself either. It's all about the fabric. So very well, and the only thing, as you said, also the sourcing material on industrial scale is something that probably needs to be thought about. But very well presented, very good slides, problem and solution well defined for this kind of pitch. Good job.
One quick note, maybe because it seems quite pivotal, the EU regulation change, maybe just take one or two sentences to fortify the why now, to explain what it is, the actual EU regulation and why.
Actually, I forgot to mention it's ESPR. the EU regulation.
Yeah. So just for the idiots in the crowd who doesn't know that, just like one or two sentences, that really strikes down the message that you have the advantage with biomaterials.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll continue the world tour of pitches. Next, we will welcome on stage Tasia Rebelo. Tasia is a Brazilian-born creative writer and designer currently based in Helsinki in her fantastic pants. With a solid background in tech, she moved to Finland in 2021. Today, she's here to introduce us to the Secret Club, kind of going against the stereotypes you'll hear shortly. A vibrant space where women connect through friendship and creativity. So welcome on stage. Take it away, Tasia.
Thank you. Hi. First, I'll tell you a little secret. I'm not the kind of person that you'd expect to create a community, but I swear I did it. Hi, I'm Tasia. I'm a creative writer, and in Brazil, I'm an introvert. I know here in Finland might be a little bit different, but yeah. Well, anyways, I moved to Finland, and my social life became a sad story. At least, as I struggled, I learned two things. The first, if you're an adult, your life will change, and I don't know, you quit drinking or decide not to have kids or come to Finland, and suddenly your friendships won't be there anymore, not the same. And the second thing, it's not only you and me with this problem. There's an actual global health issue because of loneliness going on out there. So what we do? We go to therapy, and between my therapy sessions, I started writing about a space where women could just be joyful and have these magical gatherings. And my therapist also told me to try social media and the integration network events. Of course, they didn't work for me, so I had to do something different. So I created this Google form, sharing all my vulnerabilities and inviting people to start something that I didn't know what would be. And to my surprise, people replied. 50 women replied, not only checking the boxes, but also sharing their life stories. So I booked a table in a cafe, and that's how Secret Club became more than words. Since then, it hasn't stopped. We even introduced a paid membership last year. And we are international women, different backgrounds, different cultures. But not only that, since Helsinki Sanomat, we got many things. So we have many Finnish women as members as well. And this is happening because globally, people are hungry for something real, something more than the gloom of Instagram. And also, that's why clubs are booming, like you see communities everywhere. If you're a founder, maybe investor will ask you, do you have a community? And with the Secret Club, we are not just creating events. We are crafting belonging. Secret Club is a living manifesto for women to be playful and connect. Here's our platform where all the magic happens. We have meetups, chats. We even have a matching tool with AI. Soon we are going to step out of Helsinki, try new waters. And I know it all looks amazing and full of hearts, but hearts, they don't pay the bills. So today I'm looking for financial support. If you have a talent for making money flow, please reach out. secretclub.cc is our website and our Instagram. My name is Tasia. Thank you so much.
The Brazilian introvert. Very well done.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
Hey, thanks a lot. That was great. Woo!
Thank you.
Well done. You have a magnetic personality, and also you're very well at presenting those stuff. So great, and you also have the storytelling part for it, which I like very much. That you have a personal problem or thing that you experience yourself, and start to do something, start executing around that. First, maybe as a joke or as a try, and move forward. So great. I mean, that's super in that sense. And even though I probably can't belong to your club, I really like this creating communities, and all those is something that resonates with the whole of your crowd. So great. I don't have anything like constructive or criticism on the other things that obviously, like if we're talking financing, then it's another game and something commercialized. But just creating something like this is great. So all the best of luck to you.
Yeah, I heard you say like something like "be yourself" when you start, and I was like, yes, that's what I'm doing.
Obrigado. Thank you. So you must have been nervous, but you hide your nervousness really well. But you have super good storytelling skills. So and then you had the guts to actually skip the traditional format, which is the problem solution kind of a format. Yeah. And I think this flowed really nicely. I would have maybe wanted a bit more information about your monetization ideas. You mentioned that you are looking into that, but maybe just some ideas what could be down the line. And then I think it's also worth celebrating that you already have a live product, which is a testament to your skills and that you are able to execute. So all those things considered, I think you did a really good job. Thank you.
Yeah, I think Aalto Creatives is very important for this thing, like being a creative and not following the regular script. I think it was really helpful to set up this presentation.
Yeah, because it's what you described, that where people can find their friends and build a community. So absolutely, then there is also competition in the market. And further on, maybe if you really want to get some investor to your company to make international expansion, then maybe later on more information about your target market and the size and what they already said, that how you're going to monetize it, and then what kind of probably investments, or are you just what's your way to go forward, that kind of ideas for the further development from my side.
Yeah, thanks. I would have really loved to hear more about how it's flowing from the physical meetups into the digital side, and kind of expanding on, like you said, social media it doesn't work. So how could you leverage what you've built physically and build a new platform that would actually work digitally?
Yeah, great question. Actually, Secret Club is it's first like Ariel. We're doing events like meetups. For example, after today, I'm going to have dinner with our community, and we have many of these meetups. Of course, I don't show up on all of them. And the digital part is just the hub. It's where you find the events. You can also connect after the event. For example, you went to an event and you saw someone that you want to, develop this friendship or whatever, get in contact, then you use the platform. Also, yeah, so the platform, the digital is only the hub. The main thing is the real life thing.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Very well done. Thank you. Thanks, Tassia. Well done. Okay, it's time for our last pitch of the day, and it will be presented to us by Peter Giogos. Peter is originally from Hungary, so we come back to Europe from Brazil, with a background in engineering and experience working at ASML. Now based in Helsinki, he's leading a passionate team of game developers working on Lumios, which is a fresh and exciting VR combat game. Now there's a mood change, that brings immersive action to life. So welcome on stage, Peter. Take it away.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. Today, I'm going to present the game that we have been working on, called Lumios. In this game, you can explore a vast alien world. You can combat these invading robots that are sucking the life force away from these peaceful aliens. And as the protagonist, the sun god, you can fight back these invading robots. And this game is going to be a unique experience, building on top of the roguelike genre, incorporating AI elements, and of course, bringing it to life in VR. So, VR is like something that I'm really passionate about, and it's still quite a niche market. And I did some research, like what are the problems? Why hasn't it grown into a bigger market? And 3 key problems that I identified. One of them is feeling motion sick. The other one is lack of quality experiences. And then the third one is that there are games, but they are not that long. So we are addressing both of these problems with a unique research that puts the player in front of the VR person, and then you can experience it from a third person or an isometric view, and that gets rid of motion sickness entirely. We have a simple yet expressive style, and that is really important to differentiate from other titles out there. And we are innovating on the roguelike genre with very unique AI systems and with a fast-paced combat. So why right now? The roguelike genre is trending, and there are a lot of people who are looking for these type of experiences. The VR market is still not oversaturated compared to the PC and the mobile market, and I haven't seen many other VR games incorporating this type of research. And these are the numbers that I got after like doing some market research, looking into like what other titles usually make on these platforms, and looking into the competitors. And as you can see, like there are less games on the VR platform, but it's easier to make more revenue and stand out on this platform. So these are the competitors. There are some PC and VR competitors. On VR, most of them are first person, so they don't address the motion sickness issue. And on PC, you cannot enjoy that immersively in your VR headset. And this is the team. Myself, I worked at ASML. My combat designer, Fu, he's a programmer. He worked at Tencent. My lead artist, Yami, he works for Fingersoft. And we have other engineers and artists in our team. And we are confident that we can deliver on this experience. And business model, we have reach on these platforms for a one-time share, and then we can expand with DLCs. And also we can expand into like further titles if people resonate with what we are making. And we are asking for 250 euros, and we would like to use it for marketing purposes, development purposes, and social media marketing. If you want to make this game a reality, please reach out and let's discuss. Thank you.
Well done. On the dot. Thank you. Who would like to begin? Is it Petri's turn to start?
Yeah, thanks. So I presume you're targeting the Quest platform, so it's not PC VR, but standalone VR.
Yes.
Have you talked to Meta? Do you have connections to the publishing team, to the financing
Not yet,
team?
but I saw that they have these programs where they support like upcoming titles, and we are putting together a demo, a playable, and that convincing pitch deck to send it to them.
Yeah, I think that's key because since they opened up the store, there's so much kind of shovelware there that it's really, really difficult if you don't have either a publisher, which there really aren't in VR, or you can have some co-financing from Meta, and they will tell you which way to kind of take the game. I mean, for now, you probably know, but what's sticky is free-to-play social gaming. So maybe try to reach out to them, get some feedback more on what they see is working, what isn't working, and then you can incorporate in that. But yeah, otherwise, good kind of set up to why things aren't working. I mean, motion sickness, it's less and less an issue because people are more skilled in developing the games. But yeah, just try to get something to the players as soon as possible to also see what kind of sticks and if there's interest or not.
Thank you.
So this is really a strategic choice if you will go according to like Meta's corporate venture arm, because then you need to follow their strategy. So it totally then a strategic decision. But as my colleague said here, might be if that's your choice, why not in that case? But thanks for your great presentation, and also it was good to see that you have experienced people in your team. But like trying to find a ex-Meta person within your team, if that's your target, that might help you to reach that.
Thanks a lot, especially for the first slides, because I think having the demo run there on the background, I think that's nicely framing what comes next. And it is of course great that you can already show a demo, and that's one thing. So one thing that was a bit unclear to me is that it's like what in the end does the VR aspect bring more? Because I guess like your customer is a person who wants to play this kind of a game with VR and does not want to get motion sick.
Yes.
Okay.
And then also like interested in roguelike experiences.
Okay. But they could maybe play this kind of a game with a mobile phone or tablet or PC as well, but they definitely then want to use VR.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, that was thanks for the presentation. Well presented, great slides, and all of that. And that was also like my question: that what does the VR experience sort of bring to it? And you did define like problems, and then you looked at the problems, and you want to find a solution for that, and dig deeper into that. But we'll talk later on about those stuff. But well presented. You had your own unique value proposition around that. You have a team, you already show some traction, and you have a content that fits the bill, and more than is to test actually the UVP with actual potential users, if they, or your value proposition, if the actual potential users want to do that there or do it on a laptop or mobile phone or whatever else through VR.
Yes.
That I'm not sure of, but you know better than me if that functions. I still have 7 seconds.
And then to
5, 4.
just to address the questions. What VR brings to it as an extra is that people can be more immersed into it, and then like they have this that you have the controllers, and then you can like actually have the movement, and as you move around, like the view shifts with it as well. So it's like more like you're not sitting down, but you're more immersed in the world. That's the idea.
Thanks a lot. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Great. Well done. So that was it for today's pitches. I think we need to wrap it up, and I would like to hear from the jury or the panel of experts your sort of closing remarks. What are the key takeaways? How would you summarize the day?
Damerna first, Sahan. Okay. What I want to show, really like the pre-incubation phase. What I would really put emphasis on is the team building. And do you have really to get the right people in the team? But I do understand that people are still pitching here. And then what was already quite a lot discussed, how to reach the customer in the end of the day. That's really important issue to think of that. And then what else? Then comes lots of things, but and then we discussed numbers. But you need to then turn all those ideas to be business. Then what you get in and how you scale and what are the costs. So what kind of profit any investor would then reach and gain with you. Something like that, my thoughts. Mm-hmm. But thanks to everyone. Great stuff.
So team, how to reach customers, numbers. Yes?
Yeah, actually, more or less the same things. I think the next step is to start looking at the numbers and then maybe like bringing the business case to life, and then with any physical good, the distribution channel. Like how do you get your product to the actual customers? Super important thing.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks a lot for the presenters wherever you are. Somewhere there back. Hey. So well done, everyone. Like you did it. First, it's a great practice to start getting these moments out and get this feel. Take it to your heart, and as you move along, you develop as a person also, and become even better at these things. So well done, everyone. You had your presentation one stage. You did a great job. And any constructive criticism or anything else, it's all about supporting you guys to be even more effective in the future. So take that also out and don't take it as a personal offense or anything else, because it's not. It's about making you succeed as well as possible. So thanks a lot. I second the other opinions on there, but again, when we're talking about 3-minute presentation at this stage, there's a lot of things that when you go to talk to investor or something else that you need to add, but that's down the line. You already did. You have a good basis to move it forward. So thanks a lot from my part.
Yeah, great job, everybody. I'd just like to reiterate the team slide, more on the kind of presentation part. Just highlight who you are first, highlight your successes, and that kind of sets the tone for the whole presentation. Then more on the kind of company building side, there's an endless amount of people like us, sorry, I'm grouping us, people who are giving different sorts of advice. So what's really important for you is to just find the people that you trust, but most importantly, find your first customers. They will be the ones who will actually tell if there's something there or not, and just like focus on spending at the early stage as much as time as possible with your potential clients or partners who will tell you and give you kind of tangible feedback if there's something there or not.
Yes, did you want to add?
Yeah. One thing I totally forgot, like customer understanding is the key. So you need to ask your customers like a potential, because everything before that is assumptions. So getting this customer understanding perspective that a potential customer, which is not your mom or dad, but someone who's might like, do someone want to buy your product, or does this solve the if you have a problem, does it solve a problem or not, or does it fill a need if not a problem? So those are like key aspects that you need to dwell into, which might be a bit scary because we talk with just your friends and mom and dad first, and they think you're just great. Then taking the first step of asking someone who's not neutral or not a close one is one of the most important steps. And it's hard first, but it gets much easier at the end. So that was mine.
Great. Thank you for your panel, for your wise words, dear experts. But most of all, thank you everybody who came up on stage today and pitched. Please join me in sort of for the last hooray. Well done. And all the best for your future endeavors. There's a great start for you guys. So we are now coming to the end of the program here in Marsio. Just a couple of last things that you will shortly see behind me, QR codes, and also there are some sheets on the table because there are 2 open calls at the moment, and one is exactly for Aalto Creatives. So go and check it out. There is an application form behind the QR code, and who knows, maybe we'll see you pitched here next year. The deadline is for the Aalto Creatives is 8th of September. And let me see if I'm making a mistake. No, yes, 8th of September. And you can access the application process and all the details from the code. But also we have, with the raise of hand, people from on the behind you. You may do a little sort of movement from the creatives, from the pre-incubator, so you can talk to the relevant people. Oh, we want to give a hand for the creatives. Absolutely. Good point. Thank you, my love. And then there is a one-off project, the Art and Tech Open Call, which is the other QR code. They are also currently accepting applications, and the deadline for that is 22nd of August. The Art and Tech Open Call grant is intended to fund projects that explore the intersection of art and technology in exciting and meaningful ways. Applications are encouraged from teams who are prepared to produce a prototype or a demo of their idea. And more information about the open call can be accessed through the QR code on the screen. Okay. It's time to thank you, everyone. Thank you for your kind support that you showed for the pitches. Thank you for your participation, also our audience online. Thanks again for the panel of experts and most of all the pitches. And I wish you all a fantastic day and a lovely summer that is almost here. Thank you very much. See you soon.